In this video, I'm going to use the Canon 400D to take a few pictures and then combine those pictures into a triptych. A triptych is a set of 3 images, and the word derives from Greek, triptychs, which was then changed into Latin to make the word triptych, which means 3-layered or 3 panels. In medieval times, you often see lots of 3-paneled things that have pictures of religious images or paintings of religious images. And they were quite the rage, 500, 600, 700 years ago. And then since then, the world of photography has taken over a triptych and used it really well. And you often see 3 pictures combined together in offices, on big walls, and I think they look fantastic. A triptych is made up of 3 connected images that doesn't really have any rules, and in truth, it can be whatever you want it to be. You're the artist, it's your picture, so you can make a triptych of anything you like. But traditionally, the triptych is made up of 3 vertical panels, or it potentially can be horizontal, but generally it's 3 vertical panels with images that are connected. And they can be connected in many different ways. It could be colours, it could be compositions, it could show progression, so movement in a sense from one picture to the next, or in its simplest form, it could be just a landscape image that's been chopped into 3 and made into a picture of 3 connected images. There's all sorts of different ways that you can present a triptych. And in this video, I'm going to have a wander around Vinken's Arboretum, and I'm going to try to find a few connected images. There's lots and lots of things in this Arboretum that I can use. There's a maze, there's the fountains, there's the bandstand, there's all sorts of nice things that I can try and incorporate into a triptych. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to go and try and find a few different triptych-type images, and I'll take you through a few of those shots and try to explain what's going through my mind as I'm looking for those compositions, as I'm looking to create my triptych. Obviously, it's my triptych, a bit different to yours, but hopefully you'll get the idea. I've just spotted behind me this chap sitting on the wall playing guitar all on his own, and I've got a feeling that I'll make a really nice triptych image. I'm going to try, maybe I'm going to go up to him and see if he minds me taking his picture. I'm going to try see if I can get a few different shots to take his image. So I've just asked the chap if he minds me taking his pictures, and he's all right with it. So what I'm going to do, the first picture, I'm going to get an image looking down this wall, getting the leading lights in playing guitar. The second image, I'm going to get one straight on, and then I'm going to get a close-up of the chap playing the guitar. So I think that will make a nice shot. So here goes, and I'll probably just take these pictures now. Canon 400D. I've taken a couple of shots, one in portrait and one in landscape, just to get the right image. For my next triptych, I'm going to try to take a few images with the fountain, try to make that the connecting theme. And obviously I'm looking right down the path towards the fountain. I think that will make a nice composition, and then I might try and get the water in a shot and then the fountain itself, and see if I can combine the 3 and make those into a nice triptych. So let's follow along, let's see what my thoughts are, and I'll set the camera up and I'll show you what I'm doing, and let's see if we can sort of make a nice triptych out of this fountain behind me. This first image I'm going to shoot as portrait and vertical, because I'm sort of predominantly thinking about social media and taking photos for Instagram. I've obviously got a vertical format to think of, and although triptych is classically 3 vertical pictures, it's completely up to you, and it's completely up to the photographer to decide how they want to present the triptych. So in this instance, because I'm taking a photo for Instagram, I would think it would make sense to have a vertical shot and then 2 horizontal shots next to each other, but 1 upright and 2 vertical. So it's really about how I match those 3 images, and in this case I'm going to go for a vertical shot to start with, and then I'm going to potentially look to get 2 horizontal shots. I'll take them all in different orientations just to make sure I get the right image, because you don't know until you put them together, but that's what's behind my thinking. So first image is a vertical picture looking down this path towards the fountain. It's kind of a wide shot and just gives you the viewer an idea of the setting of what I'm taking a picture of. This image I'm going f6.3, which is a nice medium aperture, and 1/50th of a second, which is perfectly all right. I'm on a tripod. There's no challenge with this picture at all. For this second image, I'm really low to the water of this fountain because I want to get the reflection. And I've got an image of the fountain in the picture, but there's also some trees on the left-hand side behind me. And the reflection in the water for those is brilliant, and I've not noticed these before, so I'm hoping that this is going to be great. I'm on f6.3 again, but 1/30th of a second. I'm not really sure yet how these pictures are going to look and which order I place them in my triptych, but obviously they'll all be in there in some way or another. Here we go. That's that picture taken. For my third image, I'm going to try to get a picture of what looks like a cherub on the top of the fountain. And I'm going to try and get a close-up image of that. So I've got a wide shot, I've got a medium shot of reflections of the fountain, of the pond, and I've got a close-up of that cherub. You don't have to do them in that order, you could have anything you like, but I just felt that, this presents a nice progression of shots. So like I said, I don't know what order I'm going to put them in yet, but I'll have a look. And I think that might make a nice shot. So I'm doing handheld this time and not on the tripod because I wanted to get as high as I can, and the tripod only extends so far. So I'm going to take this image now. I'm going to try a few different shots of this cherub just to see if I can get the right image, because I've got trees in the background, I've got other artifacts that I don't really want in the picture, or I do want. It just depends on what they look like. So I'm going to have a wander around now, take some shots, and I'll show you what they look like afterwards. One subject I think works really well in any picture is flowers, and I've got a little bed of flowers here, and I'm going to try to take a wide, a close-up and a medium shot of these flowers. This 1855 kit lens isn't a macro lens, but I'm going to try and get as close as I can to these flowers. f4 to get the most separation as I can, and let's see how this one goes. I'm going to do this portrait, but I'm also, as I've done with all the others, do both portrait and landscape. I'm back now after my little trip to the Arboretum, and I put all the pictures I took on my computer and I put them into a triptych. So let's have a look to see what I've come up with. So the first set of images I took with this man, his actual name was Fraser. He was really nice and he let me take his picture. So I've done the main shot as a portrait, and then I've done two landscapes of both of him sitting on the wall playing his guitar. That was fantastic. I was really impressed with that. The second shot I took was the picture of the fountain, and I split this into three vertical pictures, and I could have done a sort of like a wide, a medium, and a narrow, but I've done it in this order. I think it's quite nice. I've put a nice sort of canvas around it, and I've also drop shadowed the images just to make them stand out on the page a bit. I think that looks all right. Obviously the pictures could have been better. I'm not so keen on this picture, it's not so good, and obviously getting this cherub was a bit challenging really because it's green everywhere. I do like the trees beside it though, it's quite nice. And then the next picture is the flowers, so that's sort of the main image, and then I've got these side images as well. These are a bit similar, so I would have liked to have got a wider, and then this is fairly wide and close up, but they are fairly similar images. But that's all right, they're quite like that, and I've obviously put them on this sort of green gradiated boundary. And then the final picture, one that I didn't film taking, was the bandstand. So I've got a wide picture of the bandstand, really set the scene, and then I've got a picture of this ironwork, and I put this in the foreground really. I'm not so sure about it. What I noticed on each of the stones is a name of an area of Lincoln, the city of Lincoln, a stamp end. But I really like this ironwork, and then I've got a medium shot showing this ironwork up here, and also the ironwork around the top. So I quite like that. So that's all in all, that's the four sets of images I took while I was out at the Arboretum, and I really quite like the way that they look in this triptych. I think it's a really nice thing to do, and hopefully if it's something you want to do, you can do the same thing. At least see what I've done. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.